Songpond TV.
Welcome back to Songpond TV. This is episode 8, where learning's easy and learning's fun. Okay, as you know, I'm Ben Edwards, and I will be your host for today's episode, as I've been the host for the last 7. Don't forget to tune back in and have a look at some of those if this is your first time viewing. Also, if this is your first time viewing, Songpond TV is entirely viewer-based. The content is viewer-based, so you can write in and let me know what it is you want me to cover in the upcoming episodes. If you'd like to do that, you need to go to the Songpond.tv webpage, which is spelt Songpond.tv, like it television, and on there you'll see a Have Your Say link. You can hit that link and send me an email, let me know what it is you want to see. Okay, straight into today's tip, we're going to look at vibrato. I've talked about and covered vibrato over the last couple of episodes, but I haven't shown you specifically how to do it or exactly where it's come from. Now, I don't know who invented vibrato, but it was the story that I've read is that it's come from in the old days when blues players used to have play slide with bottles or actual slides. When they actually move the slide around over the strings, it creates that very airy moving vibrato sound. And then of course vibrato whammy bars were put on guitars to again create that sort of wobbling, wavering sound. The same sound can be mimicked by your fingers on the fretboard on a string, moving the string up and down as it's ringing out. So we'll cut now to a close-up of my fingers here on the fretting board. You'll notice here I've got an acoustic guitar. If you've got an acoustic as well, it may be a bit tricky to do bends or vibrato on the strings because they're a little bit thicker than electric guitar strings. But that's okay, you still can do it on acoustics. It just may take a bit longer and your fingers may get sore a bit quicker. All right, here we are. I'm in the 5th to 8th fret position here. I'm going to just bend, say, the 3rd string, the G string on the 7th fret. That's a bend. Now, a bit of vibrato would be effectively striking the string, and there's 2 ways you can do some vibrato, is move your finger back and forth in the fret very quickly, and it's very subtle, this one. You can just hear it just subtly wavering. Now that helps give it a little bit more character when you're striking the strings. The other way to do some vibrato is to actually do these mini bends up and down. Instead of a full bend, they're these little wiggly bends. And that's again giving it some waver in and out of the note, and that gives it some character as well. You can pretty much do vibrato on any string. You'll notice on an acoustic guitar, the higher strings are a bit harder to do vibrato cleanly. And you'll notice here I'm getting all my 3 fingers in there to help with this one because the acoustic guitar strings are a bit thicker, they're a bit tougher. So yeah, it's quite simply, try either the wiggle. The wiggle is very subtle, or you can try the bend up and down, and depending on how fast you bend, of course that's how different the modulation is going to sound. Done. Vibrato. Try those out. Try it on all the strings in different positions. Some places you'll find hard, some places you'll find easy. Alright. Today's lesson section, it's not so much of a lesson, more such me giving you guys some information that you've all been asking for. Now you've been asked, I've had many requests from Ben, please can you review or tell me what the best 12-string guitar is to buy under $400, or tell me what is the best electric guitar to buy, or I'm new at guitar, I'm not sure whether I should buy an acoustic or an electric. A lot of stuff about please review these guitars or tell me what it is that I should be buying with my money. Simple answer is, well, it totally depends on you and what your budget is. But what I am going to tell you today is what you can look for if you're buying second-hand or new from a store, no matter what it is, what few things you can look out for that will give you some information, and if you don't know anything about guitar, some things you can get away with if for example, the nut on the guitar may be broken, you can buy replacement nuts, so don't let that sort of stuff turn you off. Alright, so the first thing you want to figure out is whether you want to purchase or play an acoustic guitar or an electric guitar. Now, as much as they're so similar, again, they are very different. So that's the first question that you need to answer yourself. Once you've got that one figured out, you need to figure out where you're going to find this particular guitar. Now, these days with the likes of eBay and the internet, it's so easy to jump on the net. You're probably watching this on the internet. It's so easy to jump on the net. Oh, there's one on eBay. I'll grab that and buy that. Now, I'd strongly suggest, until you know quite a bit about guitars and until you're comfortable and maybe you've tried playing different makes and different models, it's not a good idea to buy a guitar sight unseen. What I mean by that is, if you haven't gone and seen the guitar in person, picked it up and played it, you are taking a bit of a risk. Much like buying a car, for example, if you've purchased a car and you haven't seen or taken the car for a test drive. It is an investment. An instrument or a guitar should be something that you take a lot of pride and care in when you purchase, and hopefully if you make a good decision and you really enjoy it, it'll be something that you have and care for the rest of your life. Second hand or new, I don't have a problem. Some people only say only buy new, but if you were to only ever buy new, then you'd be missing out on some of these great vintage guitars. So second hand or new doesn't really matter, so long as when you are checking out a second hand guitar, you know what to look for. So the first thing you want to be looking for and inspecting, again, acoustic or electric, is the neck. Is probably one of the most important parts of the guitar. I'd look very carefully at the neck, particularly the back of the neck. It's where the neck joins the guitar body and where the neck joins the headstock of the guitar. They are the two most classic places of where there could possibly have been an accident on the guitar, and there may be some breaks or cracks in the guitar. Again, if it's a new guitar, probably isn't going to be, but just check anyway. Don't ever assume because it's new it won't have a crack or a break. If it does, don't touch it. Have a look at the rest of the body, make sure there's no cracks there or there's nothing coming apart. Real straightforward stuff, but again, if you're not sure what to look for or where to look, you may miss these things. Play with all the tuning pegs, make sure they turn freely and easily, and that there's nothing broken there or there's not some missing. Again, if there's something missing, I wouldn't touch it. You can buy replacement tuning pegs, but for straight up, you want to make sure that you can move them, they're not too stiff, they're not too loose. Okay, once you've done that, the next most obvious thing to do is actually play the thing, and that's the most important thing. Hold the guitar. Does it sit on you well? Now, we all come in different shapes and sizes, as do guitars. So a 300-pound man is going to be no good with a 3/4 scale nylon string guitar. Maybe, but chances are it's going to be far too small for him. So pick something that's appropriate for you. And again, these are such obvious things, but things that people often overlook, particularly if they're not buying these things by seeing them in person. So hold the guitar, strum it. If you don't know any chords, just pretend to strum away. And does it feel natural? Does it feel good for you? If it feels too small, go and find something bigger. If it feels too big, try and find something smaller. Okay, the last thing I'm going to get you to look at is down the neck. You'll actually be able to look down, pick the guitar up like I am here, down to the camera, and look down the neck, straight down from the strings down the neck. By doing this, you'll be able to see whether there's any bows in the neck. There's a lot of tension that's put on guitar necks from the strings, and you'll see whether the neck is bowed or moved or twisted, or if there are any frets that are sharp or missing, or you'll see if there's any dents or hollows in the neck, the actual fretboard of the neck. Again, if there is, particularly if there's a bow in the neck, that sort of stuff's really hard to get right. You can fix those things, but for the sake of your stress and worry, I wouldn't touch the guitar. Okay, what sort of money to spend? That's entirely up to you. I've picked up guitars for $80 that have been amazing. In fact, I've got an $80 guitar, which is one of my main go-to guitars, and I think sounds absolutely fabulous. The other flip side to that is I've heard and played some $50,000 Martins, which are also fabulous. So it does come down to what you think is right and what you think sounds good. So don't, again, assume that because it's got Martin and a $3,000 price tag on it that it must be good. You may love the sound of a much cheaper, lower end model, and it may suit your budget as well. Okay, hope that's helped. Tune in again next time, and we'll see you again very soon.
SPTV, proudly brought to you by Songpond.com, where you learn to play your favorite songs.